Hi everybody, welcome back to Right to the Top. I'm Adam. Today's video is also a follow-up to my last video where I spoke about the 5 main reasons that people lose points in the IELTS Task 1 summary of the academic writing test. So basically the graphs, tables, pie charts, all that. So today we're going to look at a sample. We're going to look at a graph and a summary written by a student, and we're going to look at the reasons that this summary got a band 6. Basically the mistakes made and how you can probably avoid them. And at the end, I'll show you my version that I wrote about the same graph so you can compare and see what the differences are and how to bring your score up. So let's start with the actual task. So you have a bar graph, and the chart below shows the number of trips made by children in one country in 1990 and 2010 to travel to and from school using different modes of transportation. So you'll obviously notice these are the trips. These are the number of trips in millions. Make sure you notice that part. And then the modes. So by car. Now remember, these are 5 to 12-year-olds. They're not driving. They are being driven. They are passengers. On foot, so walking, by bicycle, on foot and by bus, combination, or just by bus, and the 2 years. So the very straightforward task. Now remember, one of the things you're going to need to do is pick out the main features or make comparisons. So one thing you can already tell is that basically in terms of the orange lines, let's say in 2010, everything basically went down from 1990 except by car. And 1990 to 2010, obviously the opposite is true there as well. So that's a main thing to keep in mind. And that the differences are pretty big between 1990 and 2010 here. The differences are pretty big here, big here, big here, and not that big here. So these are things that you should pick out right away and be prepared to speak about. Okay, let's go to the sample by the student. 186 words, so good length. Let's see what's missing. So the bar graph, this bar graph illustrates various options for travel used by children aged from 5 to 12 years of age. So right away, aged of age, same thing. Make sure you don't repeat. Also, options for travel, like to, like the beach or to the city, or the ways of traveling or the modes of transport, not options for travel. To and from school in 2 different years. To and from school, this was given to you in the task. You try to use as many different words as you can. At this point, if you're taking the IELTS, by now, you should know the word commute. Commute will come up in so many different topics that it's just a good word to have in your lexical range, in your lexical resource. Okay? Now, this is a very common thing I see in a lot of task ones. According to this chart, and then again, according to the graph. But you already told me you're looking at this bar graph. You don't need to tell me again. You tell me once in the introduction, that's it. Do not repeat this particular expression. There's just no need for it. Okay, so don't repeat that. Just get right to the point. It is clear that the highest number of trips to and from. So right away, you're getting into the details. What is missing? Right away, you should notice that something is missing here. In here, no overview statement. And I already see down here, there's no conclusion. This is a big issue. You're going to lose a lot of points for not having that overview. You have to look at the graph and see what is the main thing that needs to be taken into consideration. And then in the body, you get into the little details. So right away, lost a lot of points for that. The highest number of trips to and from school, again, to and from school, to and from school, to and from school, your lexical range, your lexical resource score is going down. Okay, the highest number of trips to and from school was made by walking, more than 12 million trips in 1990. So that's here, that's correct. On the contrary, right away, transition, not the right transition. In contrast, if you're trying to compare two things, it's not the opposite, it's just different. The lowest number of trips were made by children using bicycles in 2010. So I'm not actually sure what you're comparing here. Are you comparing 1990 to 2010, or are you comparing walking to cycling? I'm not sure what the actual comparison is. So you have to be careful to make the connections very clear. You can't contrast walking in 1990 to cycling in 2010. The two are just two different things in two different times. So one thing you might want to do is put body paragraph 1, what happened in 1990, body paragraph 2, what happened in 2010. Or find some other way to group your ideas together. And this is very important for your task response and your cohesion and coherence. And I'll show you that a little bit in my version. In general, in 1990, pupils used cycling, walking, and busing or buses almost equally, near 6 million trips. So let's just check that. So this was, in 1990, okay. So more or less, this one go over 7 million. So you have to be a little bit careful about how you group things together. Except for using the car to get to and from school with a little bit above 4 million trips and walking with, right away, I lost control of what this person is trying to say. First of all, notice this sentence starts here. It ends here. Way too many ideas, way too many clauses. It's a run-on sentence. None of the ideas, after you get into the car, I don't actually know what this person is saying. So this person has lost control of the paragraph and the whole thing falls apart. If you have to, use simple sentences. Don't try to be complex. Save the complexity for the essay. Be simple, be direct, be correct in the task 1. According to the graph, again, children used to walk to and from school much less in 2010. I think I already kind of understood that from the first paragraph. The number of trips significantly reduced. So again, you have a run-on sentence. Just stop, start a new sentence. From 12 million to 6 million. Again, you already mentioned the 12 million here. You don't need to mention the same details again. And details do matter. That's one of the 5 issues I mentioned before. In addition, this is an essay transition. You don't need to be adding points. You're adding details, right? You just say also, or just go to the next points. Students were dropped at school and picked up by car a lot more in 2010 than in 1990. That's another way to say they were driven, that's fine. Above 10 million trips and close to 4 million trips respectively. Above 10, I'd say about 11, just say that, but that's not an issue. Again, details matter. Don't try to be complex in your writing. Be very simple, be very direct, have an overview statement, very, very important. So, where did this person lose points? A lot of points lost for task response. Got a 5 there. No overview, a misleading introduction because not exactly travel options. And I didn't mention the country and things like that. Some information is a little bit missing. He didn't make all the relative comparisons. So let me just go back 1 second. It's very important to notice the huge difference here too. It's important to notice the huge difference. All the big differences weren't necessarily mentioned. And because all these 4 had big differences, the small difference here probably needs to be mentioned as well, because that's the anomaly. That's the one that didn't change too much. Okay, cohesion and coherence gets a 6. Unclear links. Sentences, one idea does not flow to the next one. Transitions are not correctly used. There's a lot of repetition. Don't tell me you're looking at the graph. You told me once in the introduction, understood. Wordiness, make sure. Now, wordiness in this case goes a lot with the run-on sentences. And remember, your writing is being looked at holistically, meaning that if you have a lot of grammar mistakes that affect the meaning, you will lose in 2 categories, not just 1. So be careful about that. Obvious synonyms not used, so to and from school, to and from school, to and from school. Use other things. If you're repeating a lot of words and there are obvious synonyms to them, you're going to lose points for LR. So overall, the score, again, 23 divided by 4, 5.75 rounded up to a 6. Could easily go to a 5.5 as well, depending on little details here and there and how other people wrote on that day as well. Now, if you want to see my version, 182 words, so the word count is more or less the same. I have the overview, very important. I took one central idea in the first body paragraph, and then all the little details in the second body paragraph. That is another way to group. You can group by the 2 years or by central ideas and minor ideas. That's another way to do it. You can see some of my other videos about the task 1 bar graph to get some more ideas about how to approach the body paragraph. Okay, and that's it. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to ask in the comment section, or talk to each other and ask each other. You can also go to my Instagram, you can go to my Facebook pages and ask questions there. Don't forget to join my reading club, practice your writing and your reading skills with other people, get engaged and all that. And of course, if you like the video, give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button to get to know about new videos, and come back next time. I'll give you the next version of this little mini course, 5 reasons for losing points in the Task 1 general test. Okay, I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.